can guarantee you there's things that you'd be leaving out. This is because with our current labeling legislation, the labels only tell you half of the story. This is because for years the FDA has been allowing companies to get away with sneaking harmful chemicals into our food supply. Therefore, the FDA should require more specific and transparent labeling legislation so that companies can not include these harmful chemicals into our food. This can help us answer the question of what's really on your plate. This affects everyone in here because we all eat food. Every time you walk through the grocery store, this issue is affecting you, whether you know it is or not. As a self-proclaimed health nut and researcher of this topic over the past couple weeks, I feel qualified and excited to talk about this topic today. First, I'm going to go into the problems with our current food labeling legislation, the underlying causes of these problems, and then solutions and actions we can take on both the national and personal level to take control of our health before it's too late. There are several problems right now with our current food labeling laws. The first is that unclear rhetoric is made to confuse consumers. A study published in the National Science Foundation in 2025 found that 83% of consumers are reading the labels, while only 16% of consumers actually believe that those labels are trustworthy. This shows that consumers want to know what's in their food, but they don't actually know if they can trust it. Negawati in 2018, in an article published in the Maine Law Review, writes that in 2009, the sale of products that had a natural claim reached $22 billion. And that study was done numerous years ago, so that number has only gone up with all of the rise of diet culture on social media and people's obsession with their health. All natural actually has no definition because companies are concealing these ingredients behind vague terminology. A CBS article in 2019 wrote that the label all natural doesn't actually have any formal definition. This means that claims like natural flavors could be anything from the naturally occurring mud on my shoe to the naturally occurring oil in the earth. Therefore, this means that companies are putting questionable ingredients into our food. That same CBS article wrote that the USDA defines free range, but it doesn't actually specify how much or what quantity of outdoor or indoor space those animals actually get that are producing those products. This means that these terminologies are just nothing but words on a box. Now that we've addressed the problems that affect us with every bite we take, let's go into some of the causes that cause these problems. There are two main causes. The first is the lack of FDA regulation, and then the second is something called the GRAS system, which I'll get into a little later. The first is the Center for Science in the Public Interest in 2024 brought that out of 10,000 chemicals prevalent in our food, whether that's through ingredients deliberately put in or the packaging, out of all those 10,000, over 3,000 had never actually undergone any sort of FDA review. This means that us and the FDA don't even know what's in our food. Colby and researchers in 2010 in the Journal of Nutrition, Education, and Behavior writes that only 9% of nutrition and marketing is actually FDA approved. This means when you walk down the aisles of the grocery store, 99% of these claims you're seeing are not actually reviewed by the FDA, and there's no research to back them. Additionally, the second cause of these problems is the GRAS system. GRAS stands for Generally Recognized as Safe. And basically what the system is companies can decide what products they think are generally recognized as safe and put them into the products. So if me and a bunch of other companies want to put an additive into our product, of course we're going to say it's safe without any actual testing because we want people to buy that product. Another article published in the Center for Science in Public Interest in 2024 found that roughly 1,000 chemicals have entered our food through this very controversial GRAS system and had no FDA review in them. Some companies like to use the words like trade associations approval, such as FEMA. The problem is FEMA is also funded by those companies that are seeking approval, so oftentimes there's a lot of ethical bias and dilemma in that. Harrison, in a 2024 NYU article, wrote that the GRAS system creates a safety loophole that affects Americans on a national scale. Now, before that pit in your stomach gets too big, there are some solutions you can take. First, we can address this issue on a national level and then on a personal level. On a national level, the 119th Congress meeting happened a little bit ago, and there was this bill called the Better Food Disclosure Act that was proposed by Senators Katie Britt, Roger Marshall, and Rick Scott. According to Congress in 2025, this national legislation would allow the FDA to create a database that would publish all of these GRAS ingredients, and when companies are putting GRAS ingredients into the product, gives the FDA 180 days to either deny, review, or approve that ingredient. Now, all this approval will mean that we have to have additional funding. According to the FDA in 2025, 45% of the FDA budget, or $2.7 billion, is already funded by industry fees. My proposal is that when companies are applying to the FDA to put some of these chemicals into their products, they have to pay a fee for that. And that's where that money would come from. On a personal level, you can contact your local legislator to advocate for this bill. So to contact our senators or House representative for the Clemson district, these green links highlighted will take you to a form to contact them. So just type them into whatever browser you want. And then if you get your phone out and scan this QR code, I created a pre-made email format that you can submit to that form that advocates for this bill. So all you have to do is put your name in and the senator you're contacting, and you're good to go. My plan will work because it closes all these popular GRAS loopholes that are very controversial among dietitians. And I want you to think. Another personal action we can take is to download the Bobby Approved app. So this app allows you to scan whatever product you're buying, and it will tell you what popular GRAS ingredients or chemicals are in it that you don't even know. According to Flavor City, in 2025, this app identifies dyes, seals, preservatives, and chemicals, and helps you break down that vague terminology I was just discussing. So it flags these ingredients in red, orange, or green, and then when you click on that ingredient that's flagged, it will tell you why it's flagged and what terminology is often used to hide that ingredient. Now, it's pretty cool that we live in a country advanced enough to scan our food with our phones, but why don't they actually tell us what's in our food? Acting promptly is imperative in taking control of our health before it's too late. So today we examined the problems with our current legislation, some of the causes of these problems, and then national and personal solutions we can take to better take control of our health. Therefore, the FDA should require more specific and transparent food labeling laws so that companies can stop hiding these ingredients into our products. We can create a future where choosing healthy doesn't require an app or a nutrition grid, just transparent and honest labels we can trust. Thank you so much.